The postseason is here. The Tiger Lacrosse Report, brought to you by the Green Turtles, starts now.
For an athlete, there's nothing scarier than a torn ACL.
Athletes trust us with their care and their careers because we're a recognized leader in sports medicine.
Get back to your active life sooner with MedStar Sports Medicine.
White Market's ice cream plant is based in Sunbury, Pennsylvania, and is locally owned and operated. We've been making our ice cream for nearly 50 years. We create roughly 70 flavors of ice cream right now. We use local ingredients, especially our cream, which is from our milk plant. The cream is what gives our ice cream a rich and creamy texture. Now, together with our customers, we've created a product called Peanut Butter Indulgence, which will be coming out this summer. It's a peanut butter ice cream with sea salt caramel swirl, chocolate-covered pretzel. How can you go wrong with that? Personally, I love our ice cream. If you come to our house at any given time, you'll find at least 5 packets of ice cream in our freezer. Our kids grew up eating Wise quality ice cream, and now we get to treat our grandchildren to it. It's been a pleasure for me to be tasting ice cream for over 40 years for Wise Markets, and I'm loving every minute of it.
Welcome to another edition of the Tiger Lacrosse Report. I'm your host, Spiro Morekas, along with the head coach of the Tigers, Shawn Nadelen. And coach, the Tigers will head to Amherst for the second year in a row to take on, in the first round of the CAA tournament, the Blue Hens of Delaware, a team that you just beat 2 weeks ago, 14-12 in Newark, with a turnaround of just 2 weeks. Is there a lot that you can do differently to prepare for this team, or is there a lot you want to do differently to prepare for the Blue Hens come Thursday night?
I think it's kind of a blessing for both teams because you're fairly familiar with each other. In the other semifinal game, you got Drexel and UMass. They played, 5 weeks ago against each other. So that's, obviously a further distance, and teams have evolved since then. But I think I know from our end, we've seen Delaware recently. We know their personnel. We're familiar with it. It's fairly fresh. So preparation-wise, obviously we're going to dial into what they continue to do well and how we need to attack that. But it's more, about our players and being fresh mentally and physically. So we're ready to go on Thursday.
Well, they'll be familiar with the turf because they just played there on Friday night, so less than a week later, they're back in the same spot. Now, in the first game against the Blue Hens, you shut down Charlie Kitchen. He only had 1 goal in the ball game. I'm sure he's itching to get back at the Tiger defense.
Yeah, he's a heck of a player. I'd be surprised if he isn't. I think Kobe did a pretty solid job against him, and Canto made a couple nice saves against him. And he's a really good feeder as well. So, off ball, we got to do a good job, covering up those guys when he has the ball and understand he's a threat in a few different ways. So, we got to be ready for him to maybe push a little bit more and be a little bit more aggressive. And, I'd expect, our defense is up for the challenge.
They jumped out on you early, but you were able to come back from that. I'm sure you don't want to fall behind early on in this ball game.
No, that's it's something we continue to focus on, being able to start strong, being able to get out of the gate, right off the opening face-off, and then be able to play, with a little bit more tempo, with a little bit more urgency, and being a little bit sharper. And we would love to do that. I think it's something that can help us be successful and give us some momentum early on, and then we got to continue to build upon that. They're obviously a very dangerous team. We were fortunate they had some penalties that allowed us some extra man opportunities to kind of get some momentum back. But we got to be able to obviously manufacture our own in this game.
You win on Thursday night, then Saturday will be the championship, and you'll face either UMass or you'll face Drexel. I'm sure you will have no problem getting your team motivated to take on UMass on Saturday afternoon after they beat you here at Johnny Unitas Stadium. What if you play Drexel, though, and you have to play them, here it is, just 6 days after you had just played them?
Yeah, again, we got to get past Delaware first, and they're going to be a tough test, and provided we earn that opportunity, our team would be in position to earn a CAA championship by playing in the championship game. So I don't think it matters who it's against, UMass or Drexel. It's going to be the opponent that you got to beat to earn that championship title. And the fact that you've gotten there is exciting, but knowing that you gotta play your best against one of the toughest teams left in the CAA, is going to be a challenge regardless of who it is. So again, our focus is making sure we're prepared for Delaware. We're ready to go when those lights come on Thursday night, and being able to play to our best, because that's going to be a hard-fought game all the way through.
Your defense is coming off one of its best performances of the year, because Drexel's a team that averaged about 13 goals a game. You only gave up 9 to them, and you didn't win faceoffs for the first time all year long. So that's got to give their defense, and Tyler Canto had a great game, that's got to give them a lot of momentum going into the game against Delaware.
Possibly. I don't know if our guys knew, kind of Drexel's, offensive efficiency overall. We knew they were talented and stuff, but the fact that they had over 50 shots, Tyler had 17 saves, we were able to touch them up enough where the shots, weren't hitting the cage as much as they could have. I think that was a good thing. We played a lot of defense, so I think that's also, as tough as it was for them, gave them something more to build on. The fact that they kind of continue to rally, continue to get stops down the stretch, and then get balls, get the ball back to our offensive end, was great. But we gotta clean up definitely some things on the defensive end still. Our communication isn't where it needs to be, and our execution within certain segments isn't where it needs to be. So we gotta continue to sharpen up there.
All right, so the Tigers don't have a lot of time to sharpen up. They will play the Blue Hens on Thursday night at 7:35. I'll have the call for you starting at about 7:20 on TowsonTigers.com, and then the championship game 1 o'clock on Saturday afternoon. Now, we have learned that Coach Nadelen loves Braveheart. He loves steak. He loves the Bears. He loves the Yankees. Let's find out. What was the first car you ever owned?
First car I ever owned? Well, first vehicle I ever had, I guess I did own it. It was my graduation present, graduating high school, graduating college. It was a 12-year-old Chevy work truck that had 125,000 miles on it that my parents gave me, because instead of going back home to Rochester to live, I stayed down here in Baltimore, and they knew I needed a vehicle to get around town and to do some things. So for my graduation present from college was 1990, what was it, 2, I think it was, a black Chevy work truck that I named Butkus.
Buckets?
Butkus.
Butkus.
And do you know why?
Did he have a work truck too?
Chicago Bears.
Yeah, I know he was a Chicago
truck,
Bear.
baby.
I thought maybe you had a number 51 painted on the side of it.
I would have attempted to do it. It would have been nice.
All right, so, and he still drives a pickup truck. So that'll do it for this edition of the Tiger Lacrosse Report. For the head coach of the Tigers, Shawn Nadelen, I'm Spiro Morekas. Thanks for tuning in, and as always, go Tigers.